Hi everyone and welcome back to Chess for Charity. In this video, I'm going to show you two cool Magnus Carlsen puzzles that were played in real games. So see if you can find the solution to these two Magnus puzzles. If you stick around till the end, you'll also see a bonus puzzle which is a checkmate in 2. So really quick for context, the white pawn is going down the board. It's black to move here. Magnus was black in this game. And they have a rook, a queen, and a bishop against 2 rooks, a bishop, and a couple of pawns here on the A file. So it's black to move. See if you can find the winning idea. There is only one sequence that wins here for black. While you're thinking about that, let me quickly encourage you to subscribe if you have not yet already. Half of the income that I earn this channel goes directly to charity, so every like, every subscriber helps us out so much. Okay, so your queen's under attack. I am sure you saw that. So if you make a nothing move, I'll say, like a queen g6, I will call it a nothing move, like just avoiding the threat. The big threat that white has is rook b8. And the idea being that if you capture, I can take this and promote to a queen. And if you don't capture, like you move back, I don't know, maybe you go here because it's supported. There's nothing wrong with that. I just take, and I still promote. And there's nothing that black can do here. It's pretty much over. So you have to be very understanding of this threat. Very vigilant. Okay, so if you're like me, you first saw this idea of sacking the queen because it's a puzzle. And in puzzles, you look for the most forcing move. Well, what is possibly more forcing than queen g2? Nothing. Unfortunately, this move does not work because the king can just run away and all the checks, although they look good, they eventually run out. The king can run to one of those squares. No issues for white. So what is the winning move? Well, the first move is a rook move, so you can probably guess where this rook is going. It's going to c1. Now here's the question. What does white play? Maybe you saw the variation that says if they play king h2, there's a nice checkmate. Queen g3 check. After the rook takes, you can take whichever way you want, but clearly the nicer way to take is to take with the f-pawn. That's very nice. But what about the line where the king does not move and instead the rook drops back? You have to calculate the win in this line. Did you find this idea? So it's black to move and there's only one move. Bishop f2 check. What is happening here? Okay, the bishop cannot be captured by the rook because of this pin. And let's just quickly say if the king runs away. First of all, if it goes to h1, clearly you just take this rook with check, and then you can bring the queen in for mate. And if the king goes to h2, the queen comes in first. It's essentially the exact same thing. So what happens? Well, the king has to take, which leads to what move? This move? Or this move? Or this move? What's the winning move in this position? So if you're like me, first thing I looked at was queen g3 because it feels very natural. It's forcing. It's bringing the queen forward. That move actually draws the game. That is not the winning move. Instead, the winning move in this position is rook to c2 check. Now, the reason why this is the winning move is because if the king goes back, you can play mate. And if the king goes here, which is the variation we'll look at, you play queen g3 check. And now it's just a simple mating sequence. If the rook blocks, you just take it and it's mate, like this. And if the king runs away, importantly, you check here, so you're defending your rook, and then you can pick your favorite way to mate. I'll play queen e2. Did you find that sequence? So I believe this was against Fabiano, and this was a mate in 6 from the original position. Pretty tricky, right? I think it's probably quick to see this one and see this whole sequence. This is nice. Like I said, pawn move is nice. But it's harder to find the sequence where the rook blocks. I think this bishop f2 move is really hard to spot. But maybe that's just me. Okay, how'd you do in the first one? Let me know in the comments. Let's see about the second one. Okay. Again, it is black to move here. And white just played pawn to e4, threatening this knight on d5. What do you possibly do in this position? Little scary looking because it feels like, white's up a pawn. It feels like there's not really going to be any knockout blow here because this knight is caught in some crossfire. And of course, this pawn is under attack. This knight can develop soon, maybe bring the rook in. It feels like there's some stuff happening, but black has this semi-open c-file and an exposed king on c1, so it's kind of hard to evaluate, right? Well, here's the thing. Magnus, being the best player in the world, found an amazing sequence here. Can you find the knockout blow for black? Okay, the winning move is a knight move. Now, what move is it? Not knight to f4, not knight to c3, knight to e3 is the best move. Now, what is happening here? Let's just look at this. So it's threatening the queen. Let's talk about that. Knight's move backwards. It's threatening the rook. Great. It's even threatening this pawn if you want to look at that direction as well. But what happens if the queen takes the queen? Well, look at this pattern. This is something you should know. This knight is very conveniently holding down these squares. You do not take this queen. Instead, you win the game with rook d1 checkmate. Okay, you play knight e3. They cannot take this because they'll get mated. Cool, so what about what was played in the game, I'm pretty sure, was rook takes rook. Okay, get rid of the rook first, recapture, and then just drop your queen back. What's the problem with this move? It seems like now you're going to have to, go here? Nope, can't. Go here? No, you can't. Go here? Can't. And you go here. What does it seem like it's accomplishing here? Not that much, maybe. Well, there is a better move in this position than knight c4. What do you think is the winning move here? It's a killer blow. It is queen to c4 check. Bang. Look at that move. So the idea here is if you take the same idea, bang, rook d1 is mate. Okay, what if you don't take? Right, that seems like you have to examine that line. King b1. Just look at the amount of craziness in this line. Rook d1 check. You take it, knight takes. This is going to be too much. You have a lot of material here, but these pieces are not developed. And what you play, knight h3, try to make this kind of threat happen. What's the best move here? According to the computer, queen b3 is pretty good. Because now everything's being held down. This guy might come into action soon. You're threatening mate. How do you defend this? King c1 is the best move. Knight takes b2. This is a mate in 7 here. So in that initial sequence, it's very hard to find, but knight to e3 wins straight away. Clearly, I should say that if you take this knight, your queen is hanging with check. And then it's really easy to win because you just take here. And then the bishop blocks, and you take, queen's holding that one, and you win the game. So not too bad. Which of those two do you think was harder to find? My preference, I think, would be the first one is harder to find. I think this one is cooler because you're leaving your queen pretty much hanging, and this would be such a cool way to end a game. But let me know what you think. Okay, one more puzzle for you, the bonus puzzle. This was found on Reddit. I'll have the user who submitted it in the description. It's white to mate in 2 moves. Can you find it? I'll give you maybe a couple seconds, and then I'll show you the solution. Okay. So the best move here is a rook move. Maybe you're thinking something like rook here, maybe? Is you thinking this? No, that's not going to work. Instead, rook b6 is the best move. What is happening here? Why is this the best move? Well, you're pretty much limiting black quite severely. If they try to keep hold of this pawn with the rook, they only have 2 legal moves, 1 and 2. And don't forget, this pawn on b7 is currently in a pin. It cannot take this way because of the queen, which means either pawn a6 or pawn a5 results in the same checkmating sequence. And of course, any other rook move, so just, I don't know, here, you can just take that. That's mate. Anywhere else, there's no pin. There would be a pin in that case. But any other place, you just play queen takes b7 mate. So really cool puzzle. I just wanted to show it. It's not something that deserves its own video, but it's a cool one to throw at the end. Rook b6, and then if they take, of course, you can mate them on the A file. Super nice move, super nice puzzles, and that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like and subscribe. As I mentioned in the beginning, it helps us out so much, helps out charity. So that's it for now. Thank you so much. Bye.